Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to try and untangle a crypto project called Plasm. Now, I know, crypto can get super complicated really fast, but we're going to break this one down using a pretty simple idea the project uses itself, a magic token garden. So let's get into it. First up, just think about this for a sec. Have you ever gotten hooked on a video game? You know, the kind where you log in every day, do your quests, and you earn points or maybe some special items. You show up, you do the thing, your score goes up. It's that simple, rewarding little loop. Just keep that feeling in mind. Okay, so now imagine that exact same daily reward system. But instead of just racking up points that are, stuck inside the game forever, you're actually earning real digital money. That, in a nutshell, is the basic idea behind Plasm. It's trying to take that familiar feeling from gaming and turn it into something a bit more, well, tangible. To really wrap our heads around how this all works, we're going to lean into this analogy of a magic token garden. So try not to think of this as some complex financial thing. Instead, picture yourself just planting and growing something totally unique. So how do you even get started in this garden? Well, it's basically a three-step process. First, you need some water. In this world, water is just other digital coins like ETH or S-share. Step 2, you use that water to plant a Plasm seed. This is really just you putting your coins into the system to get them working. And third, you just wait. Over time, that seed starts to grow and it produces magic fruit, which are the Plasm tokens themselves. Okay, so you plant a seed and it grows. That sounds simple enough, but what's the magic part here? What's the secret ingredient that makes this any different from, well, just a regular old garden? The magic, it turns out, comes from something they call a magic hose. See, the garden is hooked up to an outside source of money. In the crypto world, this is what's known as real yield. And what that means is, even after you've done your initial watering, this hose just keeps feeding your plant automatically. It's a system that's really designed to keep itself going, even if you're not constantly adding new stuff. Now, like any good game, or any magic garden for that matter, there are rules. You can't just do whatever you want. There are some commitments you have to make when you decide to plant your seed. So let's take a look at the big one. The main rule is all about time. See, when you plant your plasma seed, you have to agree to lock it in the garden for a certain amount of time. And honestly, the best way to think about this is like one of those locked piggy banks. You put your allowance in, but you promise not to touch it until, say, the end of summer, because that's when you get the full reward. So, how long is this lockup? Well, you actually get to choose. The system lets you lock your coins for anywhere between just 1 day and all the way up to 77 days. And the longer you decide to lock it up, the bigger your potential harvest of that magic fruit is going to be. Okay, but what if you get nervous? What if you need your money back early? Well, you can do it, but just like smashing that piggy bank open before summer's over, there's a big penalty. You'll lose half of what's inside. So in this garden, patience is definitely rewarded. All right, so we've talked about how tokens get created, but there's this other key part of the system that's designed to do the opposite, to make the tokens that are already out there more valuable. And it's a process called burning. I know, it sounds totally backwards, right? Why on earth would you take something that has value and just destroy it? It feels like a waste, but there is a very specific economic reason for doing it. Think back to when you were a kid in school. If the teacher gave out just one special shiny sticker to one student, man, that was a huge deal. But if she gave out thousands of them to everybody, each sticker would feel a lot less special, right? It's just basic supply and demand. Making something rare gives it value. So here's how the burning works in this system. First, it uses some of that magic hose money to go out and buy its own Plasm tokens off the market. Then, it sends them to what's basically a digital trash can. It's an address where they can never, ever be recovered. They're just gone. And this makes the total supply smaller, which makes all the remaining tokens that much rarer. Okay, so let's put all the pieces together. We've got the garden, the magic hose, the locked piggy bank, and this digital trash can. So let's zoom out and look at the big picture. Why would these kinds of mechanics actually appeal to people? It really boils down to a few key ideas that make this whole thing tick. For one, it's designed to be self-sustaining, right? That's thanks to the magic hose of real yield. Then you've got the burning, which is constantly working to create scarcity. And finally, the whole system was built with a hard cap, a limit on the total number of tokens that can ever even exist. and that number is right around 125 million. Once that many Plasm tokens are out there, the garden just stops making new ones. That's it. This creates a finite, limited supply, which is a really fundamental piece of the whole design. So what's the big takeaway here? We've walked through a system that kind of blends gaming and saving and economics all into one thing, and it really leaves us with this one big question to chew on. Could these kinds of self-sustaining digital gardens, with their built-in scarcity, become a new model for how we think about rewards and value online in the future? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for digging into this with me today.